I'm going to be showing you how to deal with a spreadsheet that has numbers that seem to be interpreted as text by Excel, meaning you cannot perform calculations on those numbers. If you look at these numbers here, these are indeed numbers, and I can tell this by placing a sum formula down here at the bottom and pressing enter, and you'll see that it's a sum of all the numbers lands here in cell B19. But if I take this same formula and I copy it over here, you'll see that even though it's summing a similar range, because these numbers are actually text, maybe say pasted from a website or maybe queried from a database, because they're stored as text, the subtotal doesn't work. So I'm going to show you several tricks you can use to get these numbers back into text. The first one, if you have just one cell, just press F2, hit enter. Excel starts to understand that what you are inputting is a number. The problem is, if you had to do this for every cell, and you had 1,000 cells to do it in, that would be a rather painstaking way to do it. Another trick is you can grab all the cells, and if Excel is so kind as to give you this little bubble, you can choose Convert to Number, in which case all of these become a number. Another trick you can do, if you don't see the bubble and you need to get this sum to total to a real number, is you can grab all these right here, choose the Data tab, and choose Text to Columns. Make sure that you first grab the data that you need to convert and only the data you need to convert. From here, it should be automatically defaulted to delimited. Tab is most likely what it's already set to, and that's fine too. Click Next, and the key here is that you need it to say General. As long as it says General, you can click Finish, and all the numbers get converted over. Now, if I take a step back using Control-Z, if I were to click Text to Columns again, knowing that all the menus were automatically set to the default settings, I can actually just click Finish. So again, grab the numbers, Text to Columns, Finish, and all the numbers in that selection are converted back over from text into a number. There's another trick that you can perform too. So I'm going to take a step back, put these back into text, and it's called the Paste Special trick. If you grab any cell that is blank in Excel, any cell at all, I'm just going to grab this one over here, and you copy it to your clipboard by pressing Control-C. When I grab these numbers right here that are currently stored as text, I can right-click and choose Paste Special. Once I've chosen Paste Special, there's an option here for Add, and all this does is it adds whatever was in the cell that you copied to this value. Since what you copied is nothing, it's just going to add nothing to this number. So when I click OK, all those numbers get converted over. I'll do it one more time. Grab any cell, copy to your clipboard, grab the number set, Paste Special, Add, and all of the numbers are converted, text is converted into numbers. Another trick you can do if you need to be able to convert just a couple cells, and this is particularly important if you're using, say, a data table. Let me show you what I mean. This trick, if this set were a data table, which is very common if you're running a back-end data set or if you're querying from, say, SQL Server, I'm going to first convert this to a table. Let's assume that in my query from the back-end database, I return numbers as text, and those become completely unusable in the case of, say, a subtotal. What I can do is I'm going to put the word number here, but I can really put anything I want. And I'm going to just say equals. Go over to the cell right next to it and multiply it by the number 1. When I do that, Excel will automatically pull down the entire formula and multiply each number that's stored as text in column J as a number in column K. I'll then go ahead and add a sum formula down here at the bottom just to show you that it indeed is adding up a number. You'll see here that if I were to do a sum formula on this one, I get nothing because, again, this is stored as text. Now some of you may be asking, okay, what if I have a number and I want to store it as text? Well, there is a way to go back the other direction. And what you would choose is over here, type the word text equals text, open parentheses. And then you're going to choose the number that you want to convert back into text, comma, and then in double quotes just place the number 0. That's a formatting instruction. So you're just telling Excel that I want to put a number here. But the text formula will convert it back into text. So if you see here, I'm pulling numbers from column B, and we already know that this cell, B19, has a subtotal that works. If I copy this formula down here, you'll see now that this no longer works because that text formula does indeed convert it into text. If you need to commit those changes, you can grab the whole thing, press Control-C, and then choose your paste values option, and sure enough, they are still text. And what's interesting about that, and the last note I'll make about numbers to text, is that there is an option to format something as text. But I want to stress that that does not actually convert it to text, and that's a key difference. If you use any kind of VLOOKUP where you need to look up a number as text, that is a trick that you can use, this one that I've just shown you using the text formula, to convert it into text. I'll give you an example of how formatting numbers as text does not actually change the fact that this is still a number down here. I'm going to grab all of these, and when I choose text, yes, it'll look like it's text, but Excel is not outsmarted. It still is able to subtotal all the numbers. So just simply changing numbers to text does not indeed change your result. There actually is one other trick that I want to show you if you need to very quickly convert a number back into a piece of text. In this column right here, I know that this is a number because I multiplied the text by the number 1. If I want to convert it back into text, I can actually say equals, grab this number, and then use an ampersand, or what's known as a concatenation, and add 2 double quotes. What I'm doing is I'm adding to the end of this number a piece of text, but the piece of text is actually nothing at all because there is nothing inside of the 2 double quotes. You can see now that I indeed have changed the number here back into text using ampersand and 2 double quotes. The sum formula at the bottom will again yield no numerical result. This is just kind of an example of several different ways you can work with numbers and text in Excel to make sure you can always get one into the other format as needed.